Hey guys, welcome back. Today on The Untidy Artist, we're making fairy wings out of flower petals. Fairy wings are a tutorial I've had a lot of requests for. I did do a fairy wing tutorial about a month ago, but I wanted to give all of my fairy fans lots of different options for fairy wings. So let's grab some supplies and get started. The first thing you'll need is a fairy doll. If you are new to my fairy doll tutorials, please check out my basic fairy doll tutorial. In this, I teach you how to take a wooden bead, some thread, and some floral wire and twist it into this cute little doll. And then using flower petals, I put a cute little skirt on her and I have a little flower fairy. Now you can dress your doll however you'd like. One thing I like to keep in mind is what kind of wings I'll be putting on her when I pick out her dress. Next up, you'll need the fairy wing pattern, and you can find that in the comments below. Go ahead and download that, print it off, and it will give you 3 different size options, as well as a couple different designs for each wing. Then you'll need a flower, because we'll be using the petals for her wings. And I picked out this pretty dark pink to go along with my little fairy. And you'll want to be mindful of picking out flowers that have big enough wings or big enough petals to work as wings. The next thing you'll need is just some little embellishments. This part is completely optional. I like to use cute little flowers and things like that, or even glitter to put on the back of the doll. In this one, I'm actually just going to be using the glitter, but I wanted to show you a couple different options as we go along here. Then I'll need a very small pair of scissors. The smaller the better, because you'll be cutting out very detailed things, and my glue gun set on low. You'll also need a small pin just to hold everything in place while you're cutting it out. It does make things a lot easier. Okay, the first step is to take apart your flower, and then using the pattern as a guide, I like to lay my flower over the pattern and kind of figure out which size of the fairy wings will work best with the flowers I've picked out for her wings. And so I'm choosing to use the smallest flowers here. And you can see as you hold them up that they do fit along the pattern. It's also nice, most silk flowers also have the lines already in them, and so it makes it look more like fairy wings or butterfly wings. They have more dimension to them, which I think is really fun. And so go ahead and cut out your pattern. I decided to use the top one, and I'm going to cut it in half. Just very carefully, and you can see why the smaller scissors come in handy. And then I'm cutting out just that top portion of her wing. And then I'm going to also cut out the bottom portion of her wing. And once I have both of those cut out, I'm going to grab my flower petals, and I'm going to hold the flower petals underneath the pattern and line up whichever petal will work best for this portion of the wing. Some petals tend to be bigger, some petals tend to be longer, so just find the one that works best with this portion of the wing. And once I have that lined up, I'm going to grab my pin and I'm going to pin it down. Then go ahead and grab your scissors and, following the pattern, cut out your first fairy wing. One thing that is important to keep in mind while you're doing this is to keep your fairy wings in the order that they go. So if you're doing the upper left-hand fairy wing, make sure that you keep that in a place where you'll know exactly which fairy wing it is. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom part of my fairy wing. So I'm going to grab my pattern, lay it over a petal, cut it out, and you can see I have my top and my bottom petals done, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So once you have your fairy wings cut out, you can kind of see how they'll look on our fairy here. And now I'm going to grab another little piece of the petal, and I'm going to cut a very small oval out. This is what we'll be using to attach all of the pieces of the fairy wing and hold them all together. So I'm going to take that little oval, put a big dab of glue, and then place my petals one at a time, and just make sure that the tip of each petal attaches to the glue. So we're just tacking it into place. And you can see it's all attached together now. And now I'm going to figure out where I want to put it on her back, and then using my glue gun, I will take some glue, put it along that little oval that we just created, and glue it onto the back of your fairy. And it is as easy as that. So now that we have her fairy wings attached, we're going to go ahead and bling them up a little bit. So here is one of those little flower embellishments I had that looks kind of cute on the back there. I decided to put another piece of another little oval of the flower petal over the top of where the glue was, kind of to hold it all into place and also to make it look clean and finished on the back. And then I decided to add some glitter. So I'm going to add a small dab of glue to the upper corner of each of her top wings and just press a little bit of glitter into where the glue is, and it's just going to give us a little bit of sparkle at the top of her wings. You can see there, it just adds a little bit of sparkle and it's a nice little embellishment. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the back on the little oval that is holding her wings together. And you can go ahead and embellish and decorate your fairy wings however you'd like. One thing to keep in mind is not to use too much glue on the tips of her wings, or it will weigh them down and they won't sit up pretty like fairy wings. Here is a look at my first fairy wing tutorial that I did using tulle and wire. And if you haven't already checked out this video, please do. If you are new to fairy dolls, here are 2 different fairy wing options for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please post those below. If you enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and please check out some of my other tutorials at untitledartist.com or on my YouTube channel. As always, thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you next time.